Good morning. I am Lauren Pibworth of Pibworth Professional Solutions. I run a marketing agency that builds marketing campaigns and collateral and gets professional speakers on more stages, live and now virtual, more often. I'm also a sponsor of this convention, so I hope you will pop by my booth and say hello to myself or to my assistant, Sarah. This Meet the Expert session is all about lead generation, a bit of the basics, and then what is happening now and what I see happening for 2021 and beyond. As we've been hearing all year, 2020 has been a year like no other. Everything has changed, and some things have really remained the same, and that includes all aspects of marketing, including lead generation. So let's start with what hasn't changed. You still have to understand your customers' problems and pains. That will never change. But what you thought you knew might no longer be true. Just like many of us have radically changed aspects of our businesses this year, so did our clients. What we have always thought we've known now needs to be re-examined. So the basics of any lead generating tool is the premise of problem, solution, problem. Your initial opt-in should solve an immediate short-term need, solve the problem quickly, show them great value, and then point out the next steps involved in helping them solve those longer-term issues. So allow me to share a quick example in my own business. I have a do-it-yourself website package for new speakers. And I already know that for many of them, their biggest problem is that they don't have clarity on exactly what they are selling and why someone would want to pay them for it. Now, I know their main issue is clarity, but I know that they don't know that. I know that they often have a fear of not making it, and that's battling with their passion to share their message. So my lead magnet for them is the number one roadblock that stops emerging speakers from becoming successful. It immediately triggers a response. Now, if I called it getting clear, I would have heard crickets. I had to use a different language to attract those particular people. And this lead magnet takes them through a series of exercises that helps them realize whether they're clear. If they're not clear, they get access to a mini masterclass. And once they finish that, they're led to the next step. I knew my end goal, but I also knew that there would be several steps involved in getting there. Before I could even consider a sale, I helped them get over that fear of not being successful and help them feed their confidence to pursue their desire. The second basic principle that you have to understand is where your customers are in their sales cycle. So many of us think that a lead magnet is just a mechanism to get someone on a list. And too many of us stop there. We figure, yeah, we got done there by this, I've won. But marketing is kind of like dating. With any good relationship, getting their number was not the end of the deal. The goal wasn't just to get their number, it was to get to know them, decide if you like them, figure out if they like you, potentially fall in love and get married. Okay, that was my goal. But the same concept applies in sales. So I've broken the lead generating cycle down into three key phases: first impressions, considering, and deciding. So we're going to talk briefly about all three phases, but for the sake of time, I'm going to focus mainly on the first impression lead magnets when we get into the specifics. So what are the major trends and technologies out there right now, and how can you use them to attract your ideal clients? So remember how I said that some things have changed and some things have stayed the same? Well, content is still king and consistency is still queen. GetResponse did a great study on the types of lead magnets that had the highest conversion rate, and it was no surprise that content ruled. Whether it was delivered via video, written word, as an infographic, or a tool, content-based opt-in made up 70% of the top performers. So for first impression lead magnets, the content was snackable. It was super short, high value, easy to consume, and right to the point. written snacks included items like ebooks, checklists, quizzes, or worksheets. And video snacks were clips that were 5 minutes or less, so short tutorials, sample videos, that kind of thing. And lead magnets that were further down the funnel, for those people who were in the considering phase, we found the content was more long form. So that was guides, case studies, email courses, white papers. And in the video space, it was a predominantly free webinars. Well, we're not using that word anymore for paid gigs, but was predominantly free webinars with a couple well-performing online courses, online conferences, and there was a telesummit in there too, which surprised me. But again, everything is content driven. So because video and written were both highly rated, if you could create an opt-in that has you delivering the content via video and offering an opt-in to read as well, you're winning. And I think that's why we're going to see a big upswing in short video courses and potentially short-term access to membership sites, that kind of thing, offered as lead magnets in 2020, 21 and beyond. And yes, content is king, but it's not just throw some content out there or write something because the SEO algorithm said to do it either. Your lead magnets, well, actually all of your content has to be well written, extremely targeted, and it has to showcase your expertise as a thought leader, as an expert who speaks, not solely a speaker. See, our expertise is often as important, if not more important, to a decision maker than our ability to deliver that expertise. Your online presence is more important now than ever. With the options of in-person events and networking gone for the foreseeable future, your website should now be the absolute center of your lead generation strategy. Search engine optimization will continue to lead the way, especially for B2B focused speakers. And remember that SEO is a constantly moving target. It won't ever be done. It is something that you will continue to work on and grow. We're going to learn to leverage the power of chatbots and artificial intelligence more and more. We have access to practically unlimited data about our customers and their buying behaviors. We also have a multitude of new ways that we can reach out to them virtually and tailor their customer journey. Mobile optimization also will continue to be key. In 2019, Google announced that it would start penalizing sites that were not mobile friendly and hide them in search results. And a lot of speaker websites are still feeling that pinch. And also, every aspect of our website needs to work on mobile. So testing your contact forms, your opt-ins, your pop-ups, etc., across multiple devices and browsers has become standard practice. Email marketing continues to be huge, but the open rates are dropping, which is baffling at the moment. We're working on that. Welcome emails are opened 4 times more often than regular emails, and they often generate 5 times more clicks, but I think that's because you need to click the download or access the gift. But it is a prime opportunity to make a first good impression. All-in-one solutions like Kartra, Kajabi, Keep, which used to be Infusionsoft, are becoming more commonplace. While previously all of your marketing existed on your WordPress site, many speakers are now combining WordPress and their marketing software to just provide a more seamless customer journey with every step mapped out and tracked so you can sell more effectively. The other thing that I want to mention is that branching logic is really starting to take off in your quizzes and in every interactive part of your website. Branching, or if this, then that logic, those paths allow you to give different quiz answers or ask different quiz questions or show different web pages and change the workflow and customer journey based on their engagement and interaction. And all of that is great information, but how do you use it right now? Well, let's start with lead generation on your website. It's important that you have your lead magnets on several pages and in several places. See, the need for a consumer to be exposed to your content multiple times before they actually see it hasn't changed. It's also a great idea to vary the look of your lead magnet. So the same lead magnet, designed differently and with slightly different copy, will get you a much higher opt-in rate. On your blog, for instance, you can have it on the sidebar if your blog still has one. They're not as popular right now. And as a separator between blog sections, you could also have it in several different ways on the blog post itself. One tool I'm using right now is a WordPress plugin called Ad Inserter, which I don't use for ads. I use it to place different opt-ins on different pages and on random places throughout my longer blog posts. I don't have to remember to manually add it to my posts. The plugin does it for me. And I can also place tracking code within the ad itself so that I can see which blog posts encourage the opt-in and track my customers' interests so I can create more copy like that. And on your homepage, you can add it as a top bar above the navigation using something like Hello Bar, or as a call to action in the main header of your site. We call that the hero image. And then replace it in several different areas, or even as a sign-up form in the footer. The key is having it on multiple areas on each page. If you only have it in one spot, you run the risk of your reader not being ready or motivated to opt in at that second, and then you've missed your chance. If you also offer multiple opportunities as a reader moves up and down the page, your chances of success are so much greater. And I mentioned artificial intelligence or AI a minute ago, and tools like Hotjar or Crazy Egg can be really valuable when it comes to the placement of your opt-in. These plugins provide real-time heat mapping and behavior analytics for your site, so you can see where your prospects are hovering their mouse, what they're clicking, that kind of thing. One quick note about plugins like these: use them in bursts. Because if you leave the plugin running long-term on your site, it's really going to slow your site down, which will ultimately hurt your SEO. So some other innovative ways I've seen website speakers use opt-ins on their website includes having your blog blurred for the last half of the content, so you have to opt in to gain access. For me, that's a bit more controversial, but it is working for some of the more data-driven speakers. I'm sure they took the idea from online newspapers. You could put your opt-in link right in your bio on your blog page, or include the link in your bio when you're featured on a podcast or video. Obviously, double check with the person who's interviewing you, but often when you just send copy to be pasted on another person's website, they don't bother to remove the link. Another example of AI on your website is the use of chatbots. You can install the chatbot right on your site, but even email marketing platforms like ActiveCampaign, for example, have started to build chatbot capability right into their programs. Their chatbot can offer the opt-in during the conversation and help you choose the right opt-in based on branching logic and your keyword analysis to make sure the prospect, to add that prospect to your list in one fell swoop. I've even seen them on someone's 404 error page. A little odd to be sure. Hey, I messed up on my site. Want something to prove how smart I am? Okay, yeah. And yes, even pop-ups. Now there's a few options here. Add a time-sensitive pop-up after a prospect has spent a certain amount of time on an article or blog post. And as with most marketing, copy is a key element here. This was a formula I used when I was writing an exit pop-up after the prospect has spent some time on a very content-heavy post. It was obviously the prospect was interested, so this was a simple call to action to receive a newsletter with content like it, but note the way I worded it. Want more insights like these? A yes/no question helps qualify them on the spot, and you'll find that you'll get about 20% more leads if you start that way. then we're on a mission to provide target client like you with the problem that that blog solved. Make sure you don't miss the next idea that could insert aspirational outcome. I used a couple different problems and outcomes based on the web content that the pop-up was installed on. You can also create a pop-up based on obvious trends and needs. Within weeks of this initial shutdown, my client Martin had seen the writing on the wall, and we had this guide to recession-proof your career available for his prospects. And Claire started to work on her work from home course immediately, and we had a pop-up installed to help build a waiting list. And sometimes pop-ups are just a way to add some fun to your day, as evidenced by the current offer on Martin's site. But your website is just one of many places to place that first impression opt-in. Your email signature. It is amazing how often this one's overlooked. You can offer them on air when you're guesting or hosting your podcast or video. You can use them as a text to opt in when you're speaking. And there are so many options on social media as well. Facebook, use it in your Facebook group and ask members to opt in to receive something special outside of the group. This is especially valuable because Facebook owns your leads on Facebook. You need to convert them to your list as well, so you own them. Don't forget, it wasn't too long ago that Facebook drove everyone to like our business page and then made us pay to play. The same thing is coming for groups, guaranteed. Facebook ads. If you're getting ready to launch a course or a new program, putting your opt-in up on using Facebook ads will not only help you grow your list, but it'll really help you understand how Facebook targeting works so that when you are ready to sell your course, you've got a much more targeted audience. And of course, Facebook business pages have an automatic, you're allowed to install a Facebook chat bot there too, and you can offer your opt-in there. YouTube, put your opt-in right in your YouTube video descriptions. You could even add them as a clickable link within your videos. And the last thing to keep in mind when you're is to make the opt-in relevant to the page the prospect is spending time on. No one says you can only have one offer going at one time. Now, I'd prefer if you only had one offer per page, but you can absolutely have more than one offer. Just make sure it's targeted to the right client. So one thing I know for certain is that the competition for your leads has grown at an unprecedented rate this year, and it's not going away anytime soon. So if growing your list and your customer base is on your radar for 2021 and beyond, and it darn well should be, then I invite you to take some time after this VCon fire hose is complete and just spend some quality time on your lead generation and your online presence. And remember, content is king, consistency is queen. I'm sure that we have a lot of questions. I know that was a lot. I'm going to do my best to get to all of the questions in the chat. But if I don't get to yours, if I haven't answered it, remember that I'm still available in my booth and via email. All right, thanks a lot.